to the Jamie and Stephen Show. Let's talk movies, music and magic. We are back talking about Beauty and the Beast, 2 weeks running.
Yep.
Last week we were having a look at the cast. And
Yeah.
we had a look how it kind of got to the point of being made.
Yeah.
We've got a bit of background on characters and things.
Mm-hmm.
This week it's mainly about the songs.
Yeah.
What we thought of the film
And the results from our polls.
Yes.
Because I had some fun on Threads and Instagram. And yeah, very interesting results. So yes. So, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Yeah. Now, warning, because we are getting to the music part.
Oh,
And I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to be able to control myself. Okay, so if I do burst into song, Stephen,
I don't know what you're
I
apologising for.
apologise. Sorry, not sorry.
It's all those people listening with headphones in their ears.
No,
That's
it'll
who
be
you
fine.
should be apologising to. You think her laugh's loud.
It'll be a Scottish version.
Oh, no. Brave meets Beauty and the Beast.
So, I mean, I think the music is a huge, huge part of why
Well, yeah, I mean,
this film is so loved.
we discussed last week about this is a Broadway show.
Yeah.
It was cast just like a Broadway show. It was written to be, well, it was rewritten to be a Broadway show. It's Broadway.
Yeah.
So, as part of Broadway, it needs to have those songs.
Yeah. Thankfully, Ashman and Menken were brought in. Now, obviously, we talked a lot about them in our Little Mermaid episode.
Yes.
And we're going to do a bonus episode on them.
Yeah. 'Cause, you know, we did one about Richard Sherman and Joe Grant and things.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
sum up this little era, really.
Yeah.
And then Alan Menken sums up
Yes.
the rest of Disney.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to go through the songs. Okay. And then we'll get into the making of the music and the facts about the music. Yeah. So we've got the prologue, which is that beautiful
The piano.
score, at the start. And I think that just needs 3 seconds and fans know instantly, oh my God, it's Beauty and the Beast.
So that, when I hear it, it's Happy Place.
Yeah, it gives me goosebumps.
So I have Evermore on my
Okay.
Disney playlist.
Right.
And that starts with those notes.
Yes.
And although I like the song anyway, that part of the song, as soon as I hear it, even if I'm not in the mood for a ballad,
Yeah.
it stays on.
Yeah.
Because ever so often I need to hear that sound.
Yeah.
That is my emotional support sound.
Yeah.
And Disney, yeah. It just sums it up. And when I was watching the film for this podcast, as soon as it kind of started, I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
I'm in it again. This is the song. And I had not realised how much that song is throughout the film.
I know.
But in different ways.
Yeah.
It's the music, it's the theme. And I don't really think any other film
No, I was just about to say that.
has a theme.
And that has an opening song like that.
Yeah.
Because even Little Mermaid didn't.
Well, the songs don't carry throughout.
No.
That's what I mean. It's that piano that
Yeah.
It's there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was written by Alan Menken, not Ashman, because it's music. There's no words, so it is Menken. It's credited for that. Next, we have Belle.
Little town. It's me who's singing.
Little town. I want to keep going.
Yeah, so do I.
It's a quiet village.
It's like any more than 2 lines and you have to pay royalties.
I know. So I'll do it bit by bit.
Stop there.
But yeah, from Belle onwards, all music and lyrics are by Alan Menken and Howard Ashman. There's nobody else credited.
No.
So yeah, so we have Belle, that what people would say is the opening number.
Yeah.
The bonjour.
And it's Broadway.
Yes.
It opens as Broadway, and what I find interesting as well is, again, going back to Little Shop of Horrors, is it's not as prominent in the film. It still happens, but it's not as prominent. In the stage show version, regardless of what character you are in that, you dress in all your down and outs and you do the song as, because Little Shop of Horrors, and then it's Skid Row, and it's the same thing. You are put into Skid Row, you are put into that, and all these characters walking around and they're bumping into each other and being thinking. And in Beauty and the Beast, it's the odd song. Like, lyric comes in and it's like, I need 3 eggs or 6 eggs, and that's too expensive.
Yeah, and then there must be more than this provincial life.
Like, and you know what? It speaks to me. I can say that. Yeah.
But it's also the combination of Gaston. You know, because that's what he says, that's why I'm going to make Belle my wife. And then, look, there she goes, that girl is so peculiar.
Well, do you know what? It wasn't actually Ashman or Menken that came up with that second bit. And I wish I could remember his name. He always, do forgive me, because he is an important person, but he does look scruffy. He's got a bit of a scruffy beard and a scruffy hair and stuff. And he's the storyboard artist for Beauty and the Beast. And he was put on the spot in one of the meetings, and he was like, oh, it needs something extra. And Ashman kind of sat there like, we're the musical people, we'll tell you if it needs something extra. Which, quite rightly, at the end of the day, he's just come from Little Shop of Horrors,
Oscar-winning Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid, and let's face it, this is a hit soundtrack.
Yeah.
So he's quite right to say that. And this guy kind of was like, okay, he went, right, you tell us what you want then. And he went, Alan will play it, you sing it. And he was put on the spot, and he said things like, where the crowd's jumping in with lines, over Gaston as well.
Yeah.
And it builds and builds.
Even to the point where the three that are, in love with Gaston.
The bimbos or whatever they call it. Yeah,
and, and it's, what's wrong with her? She's crazy. He's gorgeous. And that swooning over him.
Yeah.
But even, like, the introduction of Gaston within that song, with him looking in the mirror.
Yeah, and it just...
so well done.
It sets the scene, because basically your song is someone saying there's got to be more than he's bringing his bread. She's changing her hat.
I need 6 eggs. Yeah.
And the trimming and the mustache and stuff. It's that kind of, they're happy to do their everyday lives.
Yes, and yet she's wandering around with a book.
Yeah.
And they're like, why?
And even Gaston is doing the whole, I'm a big man, I need a wife.
Yeah.
It's so ordinary.
Yeah.
And she's like, I need more than this.
Yeah.
And then that's why she's got her books. And it just,
it's very well done. I mean, you've got the library bit, not the library, the bookshop, the stopping of the music and going into the bookshop, and that scene of her throwing her hand as she's on the ladder, and then he goes, if you like it all that much, it's yours. Really? But sir, I insist. Thank you very much. And then she's gone to the fountain. Yeah. And she's sitting and reading the book, and the sheep are all around her, and that's when she dreams of...
the woman in the background, because that fountain is to wash your clothes in.
Yeah.
And yet she sat there dreaming and having all of this. Well, no, I'm sorry, that's odd, because that fountain is just to do my clothes. Yeah.
Well, we'll get back to that fountain, because I've got a fact about that. Right, so we've established we like the bell, we like the opening number. Lots of things are introduced in that song. Straight away we know who we don't like and who we like, what the village thinks of her, what she thinks of herself, and
the village,
the village, and that she stands out from everyone else. Yeah. Great opening.
Yeah.
Then it's quite a while until we get another song.
It's the reprise, isn't it? Of
Belle. Where...
So She's doing a Julie Andrews.
Yes, I was just going to say her Sound of Music.
But I will say there is a bit just before then that just goes down to the story writing as well, and I'm just mentioning it because I don't want to forget. It's where Maurice just done the invention.
Yes.
And it's this invention, I'm going to take it to the fair and it's going to change our life.
Yeah.
And he gets on that horse cart to take it to the fair.
Yeah.
And gets lost.
I know.
And it changes their life.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I just love that. And it's that kind of writing that's throughout. So when she's like, Madame Gaston, and she's singing to the hens and things.
Yeah, the chickens.
Because she's already said she's got no one to talk to.
Yeah.
She's got nothing.
Yeah.
And the only person she can kind of relate that to are these animals.
Yeah.
And we've already seen her, the only creatures with the fountain that kind of have any interest in her are those sheep. And it turns out they just want to eat the book.
Yeah.
So it's, no one is understanding
No.
And those chickens and things, they want the food.
Yeah.
And it's goes in depth, which I'll get to a little bit further in the story as well.
Okay. So the next song, which is the showstopper song, Be Our Guest.
Arr.
Arr!
Arr. That was my French accent, because pirates are French. I've just got over a sore throat.
Sung brilliantly by Jerry Orbach and Angela Lansbury. She's got a little bit in there.
Yes.
A
spot.
And again, in this song, it's about them, and it kind of summarises what they've been through up until.
He literally about themselves.
Yeah, he literally says.
You're getting flabby lazy.
In the bit,
Fat and flabby lazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and you walk in and oops a daisy. It's a guest.
Honestly, that whole sequence is, fuck me, it's a guest.
I mean, it's because obviously, like we said in part one, the beast never makes any attempt to find someone to break that spell.
No, he's not out and about. He's not on Tinder.
10 years they've been rusting, needing so much more than dusting. And Belle walks through the door and they're like, yes! And how handy they've got that song ready for her.
But I will say, and this is what I was getting to before, is even though I do think that all of those little servants are a little bit selfish, they talk to her.
Yes.
And they're doing it for their own purpose.
Yeah. And
then we get to the next song.
Yes, so the next song is No One.
Okay, I thought the one after.
No.
Gaston.
Yeah, Gaston.
Yes.
Or, because it's not. Are you meaning the missing song?
No. It's
no,
fine.
okay.
We'll go to Gaston.
Yeah, Gaston is next. Which, again, wow. I mean, if you didn't already get an idea of what that character was like, this song is his story.
Yes. Broadway piece. Yes, we've already seen Broadway twice now. In 2 of the songs.
I know. But this in the live action film is probably the best scene.
I must admit, I have tried to do the barge key change.
Okay.
I have tried to do it. I won't do it now because I'd hate to put anyone to
It's
shame.
when Josh Gad is trying to spell his name.
And do you know what that is in the Broadway one?
Yes, I've got that as a fact. Yeah. I know.
So, a few years ago, me and Luke went to go see the show, the Broadway. It was touring.
Okay.
And Be Our Guest was, again, the showstopper. Mm-hmm. Just absolutely the showstopper.
Oh, I mean, on Disney on Ice, it's amazing.
When you go Florida.
Okay.
And you see the fireworks.
Right, yeah.
And I've told you to do it twice. I've told you to be near the castle and I've told you to be on Main Street.
Yeah.
You'll cry.
Okay. Right.
You'll cry.
Okay.
But this one, on the stage, it's such a powerful song that, he stood there, he's got the boys around him. It's
Yeah.
very much a boys' song. Which, looking at other musicals, Les Miserables.
Yeah.
You've got Master of the House.
Yes.
Which again,
I love that song.
At college.
Oh, okay.
And in Little Shop of Horrors.
Just be a test. Is that what you were going to say? That one. With Steve Martin on the bike. Yeah.
Who was my character.
Oh my god! What is the song he sings on the bike? Is it Just Be a Dentist?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah, that's his song.
Yeah.
That's his kind of villain song. And it's such a cheeky Broadway thing. Whereas this is full on. Gaston gets the same treatment as Belle does.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in the finished film, the Beast doesn't get ever more.
No.
Because if you had those three,
they would have each had
a classic trope of Broadway, which is the three main characters gets their want song.
Yeah.
So Gaston, although it's a little bit separate to the rest, because it's not part of the kind of that main thread of Beauty and the Beast.
No.
But
it's obviously been done deliberately that way.
Yes, because
he's the villain.
It's the villain. It's that villain song.
Yeah.
And when we look in the future, I mean, obviously we had Poor Unfortunate Souls, but that's part of the main flow of the main character. But when you look in the future in those films that are looking back at this and a little bit inspired by this, you've got Hellfire.
Yeah.
In Hunchback of Notre
Dame.
Oh
my god, that is so different from the rest of the songs.
Which, again, does it need to be there? Because it's
Scars
not,
one.
Yeah.
Be Prepared. I mean...
It's not part of the main story thread of the main character or main characters, but it is the villain's story. And, it's...
And the way it's written is, like, Gaston is not... Although he's the villain, he's not evil.
No.
And he's not malicious. He's just a brute.
Yeah.
And he's just this, very masculine...
Thingy... I'm going to get the name wrong. Thingy Bones from Ichabod.
Yeah, you said he was inspired by that, yeah. Yeah, he's not evil. He's a simple man that is vain and just wants a wife to breed and to look after him while he goes hunting.
And this is where
But she's got to be equally as beautiful as him.
Oh, yeah.
Because he can't be married. Yeah, he can't be with somebody ugly.
But, again...
And he will not take no for an answer.
That's a bit creepy in that where he's got his hands both sides and she obviously opens the door, but she is running from him.
I know.
And what I like is, again, it goes back to this mirror of the Beast and Gaston.
Yeah.
Because Gaston's not telling you he's beautiful.
No.
He's not telling you that no one bites in a wrestling match like Gaston. He's not saying that. He just tells you that as a kid he'd eat 5 dozen eggs. Yeah. 4 dozen eggs, and now he eats 5 and look at the size of a barge. He has been bloated up by those around him.
Yeah.
You got them 3 girls who would literally pounce on him the second that he does a button. And you've got LeFou, who's... You're the best.
Idolising him.
Yeah. You got all the other men in the bar who are like... And then when he does a song in the future, you can tell he's idolised by those. Well, obviously, the Beast growing up as the prince... Well, he's a prince. He can do whatever he likes.
Yeah.
Look how great he is because he's a prince. It spoilt him. And it's that mirror image.
Yeah.
And that's why that song is so important. Because...
And he's clearly a character that obviously gets what he wants.
Yeah.
And nobody says no to him. And Belle's kind of like that first person. And he won't take no for an answer. So you've got him ignoring her.
Yeah.
And...
Why are you reading a book?
And yet, the Beast is ignoring her in a different way.
Yeah.
He's not coming on to her. He's not forcing himself on her. If anything, he's trying to keep away.
Yeah.
But yet, they end up...
So you know when she goes into the West Wing, even though she's been explicitly told to, a few hours before...
Yes. No touchy.
The Beast, the way he reacts by pushing things out the way, almost identical to Gaston.
Yes.
When he's pushing things in Belle's house.
Yes, to get to her.
And she's the victim in both. You know, if this was an adult film based on adults thing, Gaston would have done something naughty at that point.
Yeah.
And this would have been past trauma in Belle's mind.
Yeah.
And she would have linked it, and she is strong and brave enough to get out of there.
That's why she runs away.
Which is what's run before. Yes. And it's...
Oh, we're going deep.
Oh, we're going deep.
We're going very deep, Stephen.
But it does prove that, you know, we've seen opinions of The Little Mermaid and Ariel especially.
Yeah.
How different Belle is.
Yeah.
And I like how they, again, it's that contrast.
Yes. Yeah.
Between the two.
So following Gaston, we have, well, I think it would have been Human Again. Is that right?
Yeah, there's a little bit where they're all kind
because it's after she's cleaning his wound.
Yeah.
And then they're like, whoo, there's something happening. And then it leads into Human Again. Yeah. We'll be human again. Which, you know, obviously was cut in the original theatrical and video version. And then it wasn't until the Platinum 2002 DVD and re-release in the cinema that they decided to add this and animate for this release. So it wasn't animated, but they do the animation. Luckily, it doesn't look too different.
No, I think because you've still got quite a lot of people who were the animators still there, still animating, still...
But so it's now added, and now when you watch it on Disney Plus, it's on there.
You have the option of watching.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Oh.
I didn't.
Okay.
Today.
So you prefer without?
Yeah.
Okay. So then after that we have Something There, which is this nice sweet song.
It's a Christmas song.
Christmas song.
It's got the Christmas bells in the background.
I know.
Okay.
It is that jingle at the start, and it's like, oh, we're going to get a happy song, another happy song.
And you know what? It plays on the fact that it's winter.
Yeah.
And it's Christmassy.
Yeah.
And Belle's dressed as Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, basically.
Like, I'm sorry, they are doing the Christmas scene. Beauty and the Beast is a Christmas film.
No.
Yes, it is. I mean, the second one is, but that's because it's blatantly obvious, because it's in the title. But the first one, because it's all...
okay, people, please let us know. You know, do you count Beauty and the Beast as a Christmas film?
I will say that not every film is a Christmas film, but as we've been going through these, I mean, Lady and the Tramp.
No, but that has a Christmas tree and everything. A present, opening.
And it starts and ends at Christmas.
Exactly.
Christmas film.
Yeah.
101 Dalmatians, set in December, Christmas film.
Yeah, but it's not at Christmas time.
It's December. It's December. And there's snow. There's cornflake snow.
Oh, God.
And it's important we mention at this point, did you see what was around when Belle runs out and...
Oh, to the wolves?
Yes. Did you see?
Is it your snowflake snow?
It's cornflake
snow. Cornflake snow, that's it.
One of the last times it's used.
Right, so the main... Well, I'm going to move on to the mob song. Okay, the mob song,
Before
brilliant.
you get to the mob song.
Okay.
Just to go on my point. So, villagers don't listen to Belle.
Yeah.
The animals don't listen to Belle.
Uh-huh.
Gaston doesn't listen to Belle.
No.
The servants, the cutlery, the ornaments, like Mrs. Potts and they've got their own agenda. I'm not saying they're horrible characters. They're not. If I was trapped as a little teapot,
I'd be doing everything I could to make this person break the spell.
However, Lumiere says to the Beast, she likes books, why don't you do that? That's a big thing. That'll make her fall in love with you. Let's, you go and do that. The Beast does that for Belle.
Uh-huh.
And then starts doing more for Belle. Sits down. His voice changes slightly.
Mm-hmm.
His mannerisms at the table he's willing to pick up that spoon. He's clearly never used a spoon as a human, let alone a beast. And she compromises as well.
Yes.
And it's an equal compromise. He's got more compromising to do, don't get me wrong. But it's that compromise, and suddenly someone's listening to her. And it gets to the point, you've missed a song.
I know, I want to leave it to the end.
There's a song, but there's a scene after that.
Yes.
And he's just about to... He could have broke the spell there and
I know.
Then. But anyway.
But he listens to her.
He listens.
Yeah.
And she's never had that.
No.
And I think that is the moment that
she
falls in love with
him. And before the mob song starts... she's saying he's not a beast, he's kind, he's gentle, yeah. And again, they don't listen to her.
Yeah.
And they march off with their...
Kill the beast!
Fire torches! Yes. Kill the beast!
And they're all men. All the women
I know. Well, there is that one woman with the... She got a rolling pin.
Oh, when they're doing it, but not when they have the fight at the castle.
No, there's no women at the castle, but when they're like riling themselves up.
Yeah,
there's some women in there.
She's involved. She's in there.
But yes, I wanted to obviously save the Beauty and the Beast one till last. I really don't think there's any other song, romantic song. That comes close.
It's weird because
to this one.
Literally, I've only just thought about this now, and it's weird because I've mentioned it quite a lot during this podcast, which I'll get more on it when it's opinion, but it's literally a fresh thought in my mind. When I was at college, I had to direct to this song. Oh, okay. And I had to direct other people come together and do this song, do the dance, and. It wasn't because it was the only song that because I knew other songs on there. Suddenly Seymour was part of this, but I chose this one because I thought this would be. Everyone else was doing like fun songs and all of that, and I thought, well, mine's going to stand out because it is the romantic song. And thinking of it, this film obviously inspired that part of my life. Because I keep referring back to it. But only in this podcast. So, I was just thinking, and I was like, it's such a song. Yeah. Well, I mean, so obviously we said last week how Angela Lansbury thought. Just thinking, finish my tea while we talk about Mrs. Potts. Yes. Yeah, Angela Lansbury thought that another character should have sung the song. And lo and behold, they managed to... I don't know. She didn't say. And the directors convinced her to just do a demo. And that they would think about, we'll come back to it. We'll think about who else could do it. Or if we decide to just have it in the background while they're dancing. Yeah. Maybe she was trying to say, I don't think it should be you seeing. Maybe it should just be in the background as they're dancing. However, they do use her. And it's funny because... As we've mentioned before, the UK didn't get this until a year later. So although it was released in 1991, it was in the States. Yeah. We didn't get it till a year later. I knew the Celine Dion version first. Yeah. So when I was a kid, I had the cassette. Yeah. I even had the piano book. Okay. Yeah. And it was... I'm saying Celine Dion, Peeble Bryson as well is on it. And then he goes on to sing the Aladdin. Yeah. So, like, those two singles I had on cassette. And my cassette is the famous cover where it's just their silhouette with the gold at the back, and the burgundy. Yeah. And the Aladdin cassette is the lamp. Oh, okay. And you just see the hand rubbing on the lamp. That was the cover of the cassette single. Do you know what But yeah, it was their version. So when I did see the film, when it, pirate copy, and then properly, when it did come out, I didn't initially like Angela Lansbury singing it because... I was like, it's the wrong version. Where's Celine? Yeah. Why am I not hearing Celine? Yeah. Nowadays, we'd ring up Bob. Yes. Bob, where's Celine? So, but as
I've grown up,
yeah,
I do like Angela Lansbury's.
they're both really.
But I'm not saying I like it better.
No.
But, and there was that, she sang it when she passed. There was a video that circled of her singing it live with Alan Menken at the piano for some anniversary. And oh my God. Like, she could still sing it in her 90s. I just want to also point out, I also like Shania Twain's version from The Celebration.
Yes, I don't have an issue with it. Not that I'm a purist, because I actually prefer Miley Cyrus's version of Zippity Doo Dah.
I've never heard that.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to Google that one.
But for me, you're not going to get better than Celine.
No.
Full stop. And Angela Lansbury's the one from the film.
Yeah.
I've already got my 2 versions. I've got the one that when I'm listening to soundtracks and things.
Yeah.
And I've got the one that's just on an ordinary playlist.
Yeah.
So I don't need another version.
It's funny because Angela Lansbury's one I won't sing along to. Like, I'll just listen to that one.
I do.
Whereas Celine's one, that's like a shower song. That's like, I am going to try and belt this out with the echo.
I have an issue with the Celine version, and it's not Celine.
Oh, is it Peebo?
Yes.
Oh, what?
And when they did the remake, the guy who did that as well does the same. It's pronounced neither.
Oh, because he says neither one prepares.
Yeah. No, he says neither one prepares. It's pronounced neither. Whichever way round it is, they do it wrong.
Oh, and can't you say either or? I'm sure you can say both.
Yeah, you can. However...
I think he says neither.
However,
But Angela says... Neither one prepares.
So therefore, it's right, and it's an issue that I have around this area of Disney, because we've spoke about it in great length, too much length, actually, with The Little Mermaid. What's your name, Diana? Ariel. Her name is Ariel, and he goes, Ariel?
Yeah.
Know what he said?
Yeah. Know what he said at all.
So, just these pronunciations,
I know,
which
but
is pronunciation, is bugs me a little bit.
I mean, obviously Angela would have said it correctly because of her theatre background.
Well, she would have said it...
And she was born in Britain.
The British correctly.
But obviously Peebo is American.
Yeah, it just...
And
that annoys me. And
obviously we could never, if it was Celine, she's French-Canadian. We can't blame that. But
she didn't sing it. No, it was...
No, I know. But if it was her lyric, it's like, I'd forgive her.
I'd forgive her anything.
She's French Canadian, so it's fine.
She could come in here and do something naughty on my carpet, and I'd be like, "Do you want a cup of tea?" Celine. I know she's listening.
The only thing with the song is, though, I love it. I don't like Ariana Grande and John Legend's version.
That's the one I'm thinking.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I don't need further versions of it. I've got my 2.
And I was really annoyed that they didn't get Celine and Peebo back to do that.
I was annoyed that we didn't get Celine just doing it.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
I know, just on her own.
Just on her own.
Like Angela did.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked her song.
Oh.
For the film.
Yeah.
But no... I shouldn't have been Ariana Grande.
And I actually think wouldn't it have been amazing for Paige O'Hara?
Yeah.
Over the credits. And
I know.
I mean, when we get to the remake, we'll get more on that. But it really did bug me at the time that they didn't link it up with the past in a way that they've done so since. And it doesn't need to be, I don't want all these, it's not excuse the term if there's anyone under age of 18, but it didn't need to be a fan wank.
No.
I'm not going to be sat in the cinema going, oh yes, Angela Lansbury's singing that song. It doesn't need to be that.
No.
But it would have been nice if there was...
Yeah, Emma Thompson, no. Like when she's singing it, it does...
She's not a singer, is she?
No.
She's...
Bless her. We still love you, Emma, but just not as Mrs. Potts.
No. Oh dear.
Yeah.
There is one thing, just to go back to the... It's not the mob song, it's the bit where the mob actually arrives at the castle.
Okay.
And I mean, it did have me. There's bits in this film, I forgot how funny it was.
Yeah. Oh, and that scene is funny.
There's 2 bits that I found hilarious in the whole film that really I had to hide my mouth because I didn't want to laugh. The first one was during something there that wasn't there before. Because Belle throws a snowball and Beast gets this big ass, like half a snowman.
Yeah.
That's going to take her out.
I know.
Like, she's dead. So luckily, she managed to just distract him with that other snowball. But if she didn't, it'd be like Tom and Jerry. She'd have gone.
Yeah.
Like, she'd be back at that village. The other bit was during the song, and was clever more than anything else. Certain bit during that bit, do you know what song or the tune is being played in the background?
Be Our Guest.
Be Our Guest.
Yeah.
And it's like how they're treating them. And it didn't make me giggle until I saw a rolling pin beat up the baker.
Yeah.
It's like, Be Our Guest.
Yes.
And I was like, that's so clever.
Uh-huh.
Like,
yeah, very well done.
And it's how the music...
It's still within the story.
It's still that, and you've still got that do at certain bits, and then you've got the mob song kind of coming into it. You have this Be Our Guest, and then it kind of stops when Gaston walks into the Beast.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to this
Yeah.
And then it changes.
Did you know that the Beast only says 2 words to Gaston?
Fuck off.
Near enough.
Get out.
Get out. That's it. 2 words.
But that's because he's changed. He doesn't need to kill that guy.
No.
It's just like, you're the monster.
Yeah. Right, music facts. Okay. Now, obviously, we've talked, like we said earlier, we talked a lot about Alan and Howard in The Little Mermaid. So, if you haven't already listened to the Little Mermaid episode, please do. And we're also going to do...
we're going to look at something with them.
Because they are so...
Yeah.
They're a big part of...
childhood.
This era.
So where the kind of Disney Renaissance starts to unravel, ignoring Elton John, who's another gay man.
Yeah.
Sorry to anyone who's listening, if that's a shock to you. When Howard passes away, it unravels. Because he's worked on Aladdin, you then get Elton John in for The Lion King. But then after that, it's never as... The music, although is good, don't get me wrong, there are some really good songs, it's not the same. And I think it's because they're no longer making musicals.
I think because with him being a lyricist.
Yes.
See, Elton's not a lyricist, that's why Tim Rice was on board. He was the lyricist, Elton's the music man, like Menken.
Yeah.
So it's the lyricist that drives the story.
And it was a gap.
Yeah.
And I think... They're kind of regaining that. Although I'm not the biggest fan of Lin-Manuel. I'm not. I'm not the biggest fan.
Okay.
But Disney are starting to get their little group of...
Yeah, well, you've got Lopez's, Manuel. Yeah. I mean, her that's just done the music to Wish. I hope they keep... I hope they get her to do something else.
And by building that, they're recreating...
Yeah.
From the...
Yeah.
This early 90s, and lo and behold, what have we just... I think we're kind of coming out of, but we've just had another renaissance for Disney. And I think it's the music that's carrying that. Mm-hmm. And I think looking at the past when you've got the Sherman Brothers, and even before then, if you think of the main songs, it's always been the piece for the film. Mm-hmm. And losing Howard, I think, created that hole. Mm-hmm. And I don't think Disney at the time realised what parts needed that success. Mm-hmm. And he was
what they could have had if he hadn't have passed.
I know,
wow.
I know.
I mean, it's so sad.
Yeah.
Awful. Right, so the music facts.
Yes.
Now I've got a few, so bear with me. Right, all songs were the last complete works for a movie by Howard Ashman. He died 8 months prior to the release of this movie. It's dedicated to him. So at the end of the film, it reads, "To our friend Howard, who gave a mermaid her voice and a beast his soul, we will be forever grateful," which is lovely. Now they don't mention Aladdin simply because
it's not out yet.
It's not out, and I think he wrote several songs. Most of them were cut, but obviously we'll come to that when we get to that film. Yes. But yeah, the songs take up 25 minutes of the film, and there's only 5 minutes with no musical score. And I was trying to think if I could remember where in the film that is.
Oh, do you mean like 5 minutes between one song and the next, or do you mean 5
no,
minutes
as in there's
total?
5 minutes. No, I think it's 5 minutes in total, as in not necessarily 5 consecutive minutes, but there's 5 minutes where there's no score. So it must be bits where.
Do you know what?
Maurice is in the jail originally.
There is a bit where I distinctly
when they first walk in the castle.
Lumiere's.
Yeah.
On.
Is it the bit where Maurice walks in and then?
Yeah,
I think that's not got music to it.
And I don't think there's any music when Belle's in the room and you get wardrobe, because she opens.
Yeah.
Her drawers.
Oh yeah.
Let's see what I've got in my drawers.
Yeah.
How embarrassing.
I think there is like a cheery sort of thing in the background. Okay. But yeah. But anyway, so.
You know what we're gonna have to do? We're gonna have to pause it.
We'll just have to watch it again. Yeah, in the mob song when Gaston sings, "Screw your courage to the sticking place." This is a reference to Shakespeare's Macbeth. Now, this went way over my head because I did it at school. I don't really remember because I didn't like doing Shakespeare at school, so none of that really sunk in. So for the song Gaston, Howard Ashman had written more lyrics than were required. So some lyrics had to be cut for the final version. The cut lyrics were later reinstated for the version performed on Broadway as well as live action. And one of those scenes which you mentioned earlier is the LeFou attempting to spell Gaston's name.
I think as well as in the Howard documentary, which if anyone wants to just cry for an hour and a half, just go and watch that, because I must admit the ending to that, I'm not a crier. It takes a lot.
I think it's because it's his voice.
In there, it was mentioned that the mob song is, some people say that it's about homophobes.
Yes.
And I watched it this time with that in mind, to kind of, because I wanted to bring it up at this podcast or a future one that I had in mind to do. And I get it, and I'm glad that people make that link.
But I don't think it was that.
But friends and family have gone on record
he
say
wouldn't
that he
have
wouldn't have added that in. And actually, no, he wouldn't. He might have subconsciously, when there's words like "we're scared of things we don't understand," thought, well, ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
But I don't think he'd have gone, right, what did all those homophobes think of me? Well, we don't blah 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 blah.
No, definitely not.
So I get, and I'm glad that people make that link, and I hope that he would be glad that people make that link.
Yeah.
Just because of the things that he'd done in his past that were kind of activism, but in a subtle, unsung way.
Yeah. Alan Menken and Howard Ashman won the Academy Award for Best Original Song for Beauty and the Beast.
Damn right.
Yeah. And it was Ashman's longtime partner, Bill Loach, accepted the award on his behalf.
We're going to have to stop while I wipe my eyes.
I know, it's awful. It is, it's horrible.
It is hard.
And I think it's what always gets me upset, and I'm feeling it coming on now, just thinking about it. God. But seeing that Waking Sleeping Beauty documentary, it's when Don Hahn talks about how they went to see him in New York at the hospice, and because they'd had a meeting there, and I think he had seen, wasn't it after they'd done the New York Film Festival? And because of the reaction, and they went to tell him. And Don Hahn said, he passed 2 days later or something like that,
Well, it was Alan Menken that said that he had a dream about Howard saying goodbye or walking away or something like that, and he got a phone call to say that he had passed on, and the timings kind of matched up. My hairs are standing on end.
Yeah, I can feel the water in my eyes.
And
but
I mean, I think it's because the songs are so important to this film. I keep saying it, the music's so important, it goes all the way through, and I think that's helped the longevity of the film. And you know, we've mentioned things in past podcasts when we've said things like I wouldn't necessarily sit there and put the soundtrack to Sword in the Stone on.
No.
But Beauty and the Beast will go on a playlist.
Oh yeah, like all the songs are on our playlist going to Disney, you know, in the car.
And
I think the Mob song's probably the only one that I won't put on
there. Personally, that's my least favourite thing. But when I watched the film...
Only because I feel like it's an action, like it's a one that's good visually.
Yeah, I was going to say, when I watched the film, it's like, I would never say this isn't my favourite, but then when I'm away from the film, it's a bit different. But so for us in our generation, where we could have the cassettes...
Yeah.
We got the videos, then DVDs, and then the Disney store. Yeah. Especially working there where it was on the big screen and whatnot. Yeah. Suddenly this music follows us. And to learn the sadness of...
behind it. What was going on in the background,
it's almost like it's half of your emotion attached to it. I mean, we've... So, like, for example, this film was my great-grandma's favourite Disney film. So she was born before Snow White. Yeah. And yet, here we are, when she would have been 70 years old, and she's just found her favourite Disney film.
Yeah, my grandma was born in 1933, and both her and my granddad, this was one of their favourites.
And because you've mentioned, obviously, the link with
it was
Angela
also
Lansbury,
the last film she saw in the cinema, the live action.
And because of how it's followed, I've talked about like college and school and whatnot, and then when we were at the Disney store, we had... It was the 20th anniversary, 2011. Yeah. So it was the 20th anniversary. I remember the Blu-ray came out. We had product everywhere. Yeah. Literally everywhere. The Christmas, they put Christmas songs on. Yeah. It's kind of followed. I know I'm a few years younger than whatnot, so one of my earliest memories is Beauty and the Beast. So with it coming out here in 1991.
Oh well, yeah, two in
the
VHS UK, yeah.
That's followed me from a very young age all the way up to now, and to learn that there is this bit, that's what makes it emotional. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Right, the song "Be Our Guest" was originally supposed to be sung to Maurice, but Bruce Woodside pointed out that the song was in the wrong place because Maurice was not the focus of the story, and it made no sense to waste such a wonderful song on a secondary character. Thank you, Bruce! Yes. I mean... yeah. Now, see this one? I had to sing the song in my head because I didn't believe this fact. Okay. Right? But this shows how clever and talented Howard Ashman is. Okay. And Menken. Every line from the song Beauty and the Beast is 5 syllables. You mean Tale as Old as Time? Yeah. Yeah, I did the same. Yeah. I did the same. Yeah. I was like, wow. Do you know what I like now? Sorry. It's like, if I didn't like the song before, I love it now. Everyone at home's doing the... Yes! Along with me doing it there. When I read it, I was like, and I'm counting. Yeah. Oh my God, yes! Yeah. Amazing. I mean, I'm not saying he's the only one that's done that, but it's something that you don't notice And because they both work so well together,
Yeah.
it was something
Perfect
that they
team.
could do.
The first Disney animated movie to have a pop version of the main title song.
Mm.
Now they go on to do, and there's some amazing ones. Like, don't get me wrong, we've said that this one's good.
The Celine one's
but,
good.
Oh, Michael Bolton's Go the Distance from Hercules. Oh my God. I mean, that's like goosebumps all over my body.
So I think Michael Bolton does a version of As Long as There's Christmas.
Really?
I think so. I'm sure it's him.
Okay,
it's that kind of singer. And
yeah.
she does it, and there's a woman he sings it with, which unfortunately I can't remember the name. It's not the version that's on my playlist.
Or would it not be isn't it Josh Groban?
No.
Okay, well, when we get to that
when
film...
we get to that one.
Yeah, because we are doing that one.
Because
it's Christmas time.
Yeah. I mean, that film just sums up my life.
Aww.
Because it's Christmas, it's Beauty and the Beast, Tim Curry's there.
Yeah.
It's songs. And
yeah.
It's from video to DVD and yeah.
It's like the best sequel.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Albeit it's a Christmas film, but it's the best sequel.
They're both Christmas films. Whereas that one is a Christmas film, so that one...
It says Enchanted Christmas.
Yeah.
It's in the title.
It's there. So...
Yeah. So, this was my fact about the fountain. Like, yeah. And something there. So, they connect.
Okay.
Right, now, there might be some singing. Okay? Involved in this fact. Because, it just makes it better.
I think I know.
The first song in the movie... So, the bell. Right? So, she's expressing her fantasy. So, ooh, isn't this amazing?
You have to put it there because...
So then I'll speak. It's my favourite part because you'll see. Here is where she meets Prince Charming, but she won't discover that it's him till chapter 3. The same music is reprised during Something There. New and a bit alarming. Yeah. Who'd have ever thought that this could be? True that he's no Prince Charming, but there's something in him that I simply didn't see. It's basically a retelling of the story she had read with herself unknowingly as a character in it.
So when I was growing up, and I stand by my thoughts, although that is the proper version, like what you've just said, there's singing. I always thought that she was describing Aladdin, because it didn't occur to me, younger, that Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin were a few years apart. Yeah. They were Disney films. Uh-huh. So it made sense that they would describe each other. Yeah. And there's a prince in disguise. She wouldn't discover that until chapter 3. That was the end of the film, the third act kind of thing. So yeah, I was just... a prince in disguise. Ooh.
Ashman wanted to have a scene in which the young prince is first transformed, but the directors felt the idea was a cheap shot and too ridiculous. Ultimately, it would end up in a scene to the sequel and in the live-action remake. There was a lot more to that, but where apparently wasn't happy to be told that was a ridiculous idea. But they went into great depths. So that was the short version.
One of the things I have with this film is the timing, because some of it you kind of have to make it up a little bit along the way. Yeah. Because I mean, it says his 21st year.
Yeah, I know.
I always took that as, because it says he would remain a beast until his 21st year, and it's like, well, he's remaining a beast for 21 years.
That's what I assumed, but
I always got that.
Yeah, that's what I assumed it meant.
But in original versions, he was an 11-year-old child. But that would mean...
And they say in the Be Our Guest song, we've been 10 years and rusting, needing so much more than dusting.
Well, I was going to, because there's that 10-year gap. But there is a bit in an earlier draft where Gaston knows about the Enchanted Castle.
Oh, okay.
and knows that there's this myth about that cat. You know, like the scary house down the street.
Okay.
That kind of thing, and a beast lives there.
Right.
And I think, could be wrong, because there's, with earlier drafts and things, especially the ones not on the DVD, sorry, you don't get too much information, but I think the beast was going to be one of his trophies on the wall.
Okay. And it was like...
He wanted to do it, and he took the opportunity.
My last music fact. Maurice was going to have a song called The Invention Convention. It was storyboarded, but not animated due to time constraints. Ashman had also written 2 songs for the Beast, and they were also cut.
Yeah. I do think it's a mistake that Evermore was cut. Again, it goes back to what we said before. Well, what I said before.
Yeah.
About you've got the 3.
I think I would have preferred Evermore to Human Again.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Human Again, to me, is on the same line.
Because they already say in Be Our Guest
they've already
about what it would mean to them, you know, that...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on the same line to me as the Morning Report in...
Oh, yes.
Because it just... Although I do prefer Human Again.
Yeah.
It's... doesn't need to be there.
No.
It just doesn't.
No.
And it's...
Right, now I'm going to go through my film facts. So these are the ones that we've not covered with what we've said before. When Paige O'Hara was auditioning, a bit of her hair flew in her face and she tucked it back. The animators liked this so much that they added it to the character. So when she moves that bit of strand of hair...
Yes, which I've been doing throughout this podcast because it's now in my face.
Many scenes were storyboarded but never animated. They include Gaston visiting the asylum and a scene where the Beast is seen dragging the carcass of an animal he killed.
Which
would have made it very dark.
I like the idea of Gaston being at the asylum.
Yeah, to see Maurice. To interview the guy.
Yes, because that's done at his pub.
Yeah.
Whereas I think it would be better if he went to the asylum. The voice of I can't think of his name, but the guy who leads
the asylum guy
is Frollo.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
This film is one of those that it's hard to just pick faults with. But do you know what? If the asylum guy had been handsome, I would really have nailed down that all because you're beautiful on the outside, you're beautiful on the inside.
Yeah.
That kind of contradicted that message because he's horrible on the inside and the outside.
Yeah.
And I just think that if he had been handsome,
yeah,
okay, as a film, would audiences have got that? Does it make it better that he has this figure that looks awfully a lot like the old hag in that opening sequence? Would they have got the reference again?
Yeah, maybe.
Because some people don't get the Gaston reference that he's a beast on the inside and
I know.
good on even though he falls into a thing and when his head pops up he's a pig, you know, in the band.
Yes.
And the band's playing, he falls into the thing,
and the
but
pig's
when he
on his head.
It's the pig. It's just to say, well, he's a pig.
Yeah.
In the same way Pinocchio becomes an ass.
Yes.
And people still
Very
don't
clever.
get it.
I know. You'll love this.
Okay.
The smoke that's seen during the transformation of the beast into the prince was real smoke from the Black Cauldron.
Yes, of course it was. Of course it was.
Yeah. The first stained glass window that you see in the prologue has the Latin Vincit qui se vincit, which means motto. He conquers who conquers himself.
Which he does.
Yes. Many paintings on the walls of the castle are undetailed versions of real famous paintings by Van Rijn, Rembrandt and Goya.
Do you know what you're talking about? Paintings. I mean, the artwork in that film.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, we'll probably get to that in a book.
Yeah. Belle's love of reading is meant to be a sign of great intelligence, a trait that had previously not been seen in a Disney princess. It's also a subtle hint to the movie's message: don't judge a book by its cover. Chip is the only member of the Beast staff to refer to Belle by her name. Yeah. The dance between Belle and the prince in the finale is actually reused animation. Oh.
Mm-hmm. And you can tell on the prince's face. No, you can. Honestly, it's not him.
So, yeah, apparently they were running out of time. And it was like, right, quick, let's just get this out and quickly draw over it. Which is such a shame, but anyway. Throughout the movie, Maurice's socks are mismatched.
Yes.
A sign of his eccentricity. Yeah, Belle's blue and white dress and hairstyle were inspired by Dorothy of Wizard of Oz. And she is the first brown-haired Disney princess. And
it's funny that in the last episode when we talked about Paige O'Hara.
Yes.
With her voice and how would like in the Judy Garland voice.
I know.
And now
they
they're
draw
dressing her in the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, so an unfinished version was shown at the New York Film Festival. And it received a standing ovation.
So it should.
Yeah. First Disney animated movie to use a fully developed script prior to animation. Apparently, it was one of the reasons being to keep the budget within budget. So that would have been a Katzenberg thing, as we know, because he came from movies. It was the inaugural winner of the Annie Award for Best Animated Feature. We haven't actually mentioned the whole thing with the awards, but it was the first to be nominated for Best Picture that was an animated film.
And didn't that stay? I know that The Lion King kind of took over at a certain point.
Yeah, but it was never nominated. The next film to be nominated for a Best Picture outside of the animation category was Up. Yeah. But yes, it lost out to Silence of the Lambs. Beauty and the Beast. I mean...
Yeah, if you're going to lose, at least lose to a film of that calibre.
Yeah.
Like, I'd have been really annoyed if it was something like Grease 2. Which I know was years before.
I know,
I
know as an example. Yeah. Yeah, it did win the Globe, but as we know, they do split theirs up into categories. So it was the best musical comedy, but yeah, it's still won. But yeah, it was because of this that the category was added. Yes, animation was added, so.
You mentioned comedy, and actually when I was watching it, I liked the fact, and I don't think any film had done this for quite a few years, but I linked it up a little bit to Snow White. When, as we know, when Snow White was being made, it was, right, if you can think of a gag, we'll give you some money kind of stuff. And I don't think that kind of was in play or anything, but watching this, there are certain bits where there are gags, are not crucial to the storyline, but they're just little bits like when LeFou gets a belt to wrap around Gaston's neck to say his neck's thick, the pants fall down, he's got little love heart boxes.
Yeah.
And then you've got other bits where, like I said, with the bimbos.
Yeah.
When they're pushing that well.
Yeah. And
it chucks water on LeFou. Mm-hmm. One of them is leaning on that thing with just her boobs. Right. The other two are pressing it, and I think it's more of just an animation.
A tongue-in-cheek.
I think it's more of an accident within the animation.
Okay.
But when you watch it, the other two are doing that, and she is leaning forward. But I think it's because it's the way she's singing and moving, and I think it's just a faux pas.
Yeah.
But it did make me laugh. But just little bits. Yeah. With the mouth outside the tuba of LeFou as well. When he was put on his head, or...
So basically LeFou.
Yes, but no, there's other bits as well where it's flabby, fat and lazy, and...
Yeah, you walk in and oops-a-daisy.
Lumiere kind of looks
at Cogsworth.
Or Cogsworth kind of goes a bit cross-eyed and goes, oh, look at the time.
Yeah.
And it's little things that have been missing from films. Mm-hmm. And I think that's because they were obviously trying to do them on a cheaper budget, reuse animation, and, you know.
First Disney animated movie to use fully rendered and textured 3D CGI moving backgrounds in combination with traditionally hand-drawn. The library in the Beast Castle bears a strong resemblance to the oval reading room of the Richelieu building at the Bibliothèque Nationale de France, Paris.
Well, the thing is the people went for a recce.
Yes.
In France when they did it, and ironically, it's the exact same people that did Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But yes, some of the wolves and things, because they lived in London first. This film started out in London, and the wolves are based on the wolves at London Zoo.
Okay.
And then when that was scrapped because it wasn't up to Katzenberg's ideals, that's when they did the trip through Paris and France and looked at the architecture and the castles and the buildings, and there are real castles that when you look at Beast's castle, they're the same or similar, I should say, rather than the same.
The signs that Maurice comes upon are all towns in Southern California.
One of them's the studios.
Yeah.
Is it Hyperion? One of them's written
I think so. Yeah. Art directors working on this movie travelled to the Loire Valley in France, and they studied great French Rococo painters of the 18th century like Jean Honner, Fragonard and Francois Boucher to give their setting a European look. I've murdered those names.
Yeah. Is it not Brock? Because in the
if it's not Brock, it's Baroque.
Reading
could
about
be.
The architecture.
Yes.
And I'm sure he mentions those names.
Yeah.
So maybe that last one is Brock.
In his teacup form, Chip has a chip in his head. As a human, it's a tooth. Oh, sorry, I'm just getting to the last two. Supervising animator Andreas Deha has said the animating of Gaston is one of the highlights of his career, largely because of how he was able to animate a character with such drastic changes to his personality.
Doesn't have any nipples though.
I didn't notice, to be fair.
He has no nipples and Aladdin has no nipples.
Right. Yeah, Beauty and the Beast opened on Broadway at the Palace Theatre on April 18th, 1994, starring Terrence Mann, who was in Smash, as in the TV series with Deborah Messing, Susan Egan, who is the voice of Megra, and Tom, can't read my writing, Bosley,
Boucher.
Boucher. It could be. It's the dad from Happy Days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It ran for 5,461 performances, closing on July 29th, 2007.
Should never have closed.
No. Paige O'Hara sobbed real tears while recording Belle's Morning of the Beast. And apparently the director went up to her and asked her when she finished, are you okay? And she turned around and said, that's acting. Yeah. 370 men and women were involved. 43 were animators. And my last one, just to finalise everything, going all the way back to the beginning, this idea was originally pitched in the 1930s.
It was.
So, yeah. That is all the facts.
All your facts.
All my facts.
All your facts.
Oh, I need a drink.
Well, that means we go on to opinions.
Yes.
I mean, I think I know what my score's going to be.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't bother writing it down because, it's going to be a 5.
Yeah,
we said that at the start of part 1.
Yeah.
I mean, this is long because of how we feel about this.
I mean, it's literally just you could pick the odd fault with it that you can pick with any film, but it's perfect.
I know.
Even with those little bits like we've mentioned just along the way, it's just perfect.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I don't feel we need to go into too much because I think everything we've talked about up until now, I think we've expressed our love for it and what we like about the film.
Yeah.
But I think what proves how good this film is, the live action doesn't make it better.
Yeah.
The only thing the live action film gives us is
Evermore.
the Evermore and the extended Gaston scene.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that the live action isn't good. It's not the best. I loved it when it first came out, and we'll maybe get back to that in another...
Yes, yeah, because we're looking at...
Yeah, this film means so much to us that we're now going to maybe do a part 3.
Yes.
Because there's so many other things about Beauty and the Beast that have happened since the film came out.
I mean, it's just... So, what we've kind of done is the first part was cast making. Second one's been about the songs. And we thought we'd put not just our opinions in there, but some other opinions as well.
Yeah.
But also the third part is about beyond.
Yeah.
It's almost like Beauty and the Beast, beyond the film.
Yes.
So we've got a lot of just facts about the parks.
I know. The Broadway, the stage.
Just all of those bits that actually will mean either so much to us or so much to you guys as part of Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
As you're probably aware of now, because I'm sure we've plastered it all over threads and everywhere. This is Beauty and the Beast month for us.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
we are literally going all
we're milking
out,
it.
And we are...
And why not? It's our podcast.
Yeah. And, it's something that we unilaterally
agree on.
That this is brilliant and our opinions over the last, if you're watching this all in one go, our opinions over the last 3 hours has said how much it means to us and things. So yes, we did the 5s. 5s all round.
I just wanted to mention a few things about the film in regards to why it means a lot to me, why it holds a special place in my heart. So I've actually put, the first thing I wrote was my grandma. So she's a big part of why I love this film. She loved this film. We watched it together. She would sing the songs. She saw the first performance of the show in Disney. So when they first did it, and she always talked about the Beast's transformation on the stage and how amazing it was. And I mentioned earlier, the live action was the last film she ever went to the cinema to see. Now, I mean, that was a few years before she passed. But she didn't go to the cinema a lot when she was older because it was too loud and it wasn't comfortable. But because of how much she loved Beauty and the Beast, I mean, I think the last film before that, this is how much she wanted to see it, was the Titanic.
Oh, wow. So,
that's how long it had been. Big distance, 17 years or something.
No, 20 years, 97, and I think the live action came out 2016, 2017.
And she did say that it was loud for her, but she was glad she went to see it. Yeah. And then, obviously she got it on DVD and whatnot. Yeah. I mean, she loves her musicals, so this was right up. And I watched Murder, She Wrote with Grandma and Bedknobs. Yeah. Those were our things that we watched. So, she's a big part. Now, don't get upset, but... me and Ben danced to this on our wedding day as our first song.
Wouldn't know.
I'm laughing because for those of you, or in fact, for everyone listening, you won't know, but I had a very small wedding.
Yeah, it's very small.
Very small. But yes, and I didn't plan on doing a first dance. Because my wedding was not traditional.
Wouldn't know.
Well, I'm letting you know now.
Oh, thanks. 20 years.
But somebody said, cut the cake. So we came in, cut the cake.
Another guest. One that was invited.
I think it was my mum.
Oh, yeah.
Or Holly.
Yeah. Well, they're allowed, I guess.
Yeah, well, mother of the bride, sister of the bride, they're kind of... essential. Anyway. And yes, somebody got hold of the music and put it on, and then we were sort of like, oh, come on, it's your song. And
so was this the Mob song, or...?
This is Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, okay, Tales of Time.
Yes, but it was the Celine version, not Angela's version.
I could imagine it.
Yeah. Carl cried.
Yeah,
watching us dance.
I could imagine that as well. I mean, I'd have to imagine it.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah. Just put it out there, though.
Yeah.
We were friends when this wedding took place.
I
And
know.
my parents lived around the corner when this
I
wedding
know.
took place.
I think your mum...
Where this wedding took place.
I think your mum posted a card.
Yeah, yes. She popped round. Ironically, and it's just ironically, I didn't live too far from my mum either at this point.
I know.
And was actually visiting my mum.
On the day?
I don't know.
Oh, you're taking a piss.
When she posted the card.
She definitely posted my card.
Yeah, I was there.
Oh, okay.
Either the day or two before.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah. So I could have gone to that wedding, but never mind.
Well, like I say, it was very small wedding. It was only immediate family. There was like only 20 of us.
And Jess.
She took the photos!
I could have took a photo.
And she was only at the ceremony, not back at the house.
So there was no friends there then?
No, we had one friend each. We were allowed one. We restricted it to one friend each. And I picked Jen and Ben picked Simon. So, sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But ask Jen. She'll tell you what a great day it was.
No, don't need to know.
Oh.
Don't want
Well,
to
do you know what? If we renew our vows, you'll definitely get invited.
Okay, I'm busy that day, but I might be visiting my mum that day, you know.
But other things was, like, because I'm older than you, like by 4 years.
Yeah, you are, aren't you? Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, you are.
So,
you're approaching 40.
When?
I'm not.
A couple of years away.
I've not made 35 yet.
Well, I do remember so very well in my old age. Because I don't remember
Not bitter
the
about
hype.
this wedding thing at all.
No. I don't remember the lead up to Little Mermaid and the hype. I just remember it. Oh, it was there and she was in our life and...
I suppose really they weren't really expecting
Yeah.
that.
But, like, obviously, I said in The Rescuers, like, I remembered the McDonald's toys. Like, I did sort of... But again, still wasn't massively put in your face. Because, as we know, he removed all the advertisement. But Beauty and the Beast, I mean, I remember so vividly being in the living room. And I can't remember what programme it was. I think it was the news. And it was a clip of Beauty and the Beast. And it was, I think because it had come out in America in 91. And obviously the Oscars is the following February or March. So I think it was to do with that. Now, I would have been 5 going on 6. And we wouldn't still be getting it officially until later of 92. But already clips were being shown. And the clip was of the Beast banging on the door and saying...
You will eat.
Yeah, what is it he says? I'll break down the store. You know, that whole, if she doesn't eat with me. And I remember seeing that on the TV. And thinking, wow, what is this film? I can't wait to see this film. Anything that Beauty and the Beast was on, I had. So whether it was a pencil, rubber, ruler, pencil case, backpack, lunch bag, cup, bedding, pyjamas, the dolls. I mean, I got the dolls from America because at the time we didn't have a Disney store anywhere near us because the London store had only opened, I think, in 1990
No,
or 89.
Than that. I think because the Leicester store was one of the first, and that was 94.
Right. So, well, whenever the London one was open, I mean, so I had, and my Beast, you know, the Beast mask came off and revealed the prince, you know, and Belle's dress, you know, I got the blue to change into, I mean, loved, they were played with to death. Then I went to see the performance on ice. And it was the full story. It was not what you see now, where it was just a song and various songs mashed together. It was the full film on ice. And I think it was about 93, 94. And I've still got the programme with the rose. And I got a Mrs. Potts piggy bank.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just plastic.
Yeah.
Chip cup.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a slushie. So you bought a slushie and you got to keep the chip cup. I think it was that. I had a light, so you pressed the button and Belle and Beast span round and it was a light.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Like all those things, I so remember them so well. I mean, I've still got the programme, but everything else I don't have. I used to have a Beast plush, but that got destroyed over time, but yeah.
See, I had to retrospectively collect Beauty and the Beast because it was a girls' film.
Yeah, oh.
So it wasn't really forefront.
No.
But as time went on, I actually had, when we worked at the store, the Belle and Beast doll.
Okay.
Because I had an idea of, because I wanted to move, I moved out my parents' house when I was at the Disney store, and then moved in with friends, and then moved out.
Uh-huh.
And I had this idea of when I get my own place, I was going to have a shelf along the top of the wall with all the different Disney princesses and princes.
Yeah.
Princes. I had to sell them because that bought me my first passport.
Oh, wow.
So I travelled the world because of Belle.
Oh.
So again, although not directly linked, it was the Belle that I kind of didn't want to get rid of.
Yeah.
Weirdly, I kept the Snow White and the Snow White Prince, and I had the Queen because that was my leaving gift. But now, because of obviously we're looking at getting a little one and things, and whether boy or girl, but one of the things that I wanted to do was, if it was a girl, I wanted her to have all of the princess dolls. And the only princess doll I don't have for them is Belle.
Oh, God.
To the point where I have Raya. I've got, like, new ones, Encanto and all, but it's Belle. And I think the reason why is because it means so much to me. I want that to be the perfect version, because sometimes they're not.
No.
So, yeah, that's... And then Primark, when they brought out the Mrs. Potts teapot.
Oh my God, yeah, I remember that.
That
was crazy.
They're in my kitchen.
Are they? I gave mine to my mum.
Oh.
Sorry.
I sent my nana to go and grab them from Primark for me.
Oh, it was when the Cogsworth came out. I knew, what the hell have I got myself into? Getting to Primark for 8 o'clock in the morning and queuing up.
You got me.
Did I get you?
You got me the Lumiere.
Yeah.
But my nana got me the Mrs. Potts, and I sent her for a chipmunk.
Yeah, because the chipmunks were what went first.
Yes.
And I was seeing it on Facebook going,
yeah.
What the hell is this chipmunk? What is everyone going on about? Because this was before TikTok.
Yeah.
And then when I realised what it was, I was like, oh, that's okay. Thinking it was just a plastic one. Not realising
no, it's a proper mug.
it was a proper cup.
Yeah. Well, all of mine sit in the kitchen now on the...
Yes, on display.
They used to go in the... They were in the display cabinet upstairs. I had them in the... what used to be the study is now turned into a child's room. And at one point, I had them in the front bedroom window, looking out into the street with lights and things. Because we used to, from time to time, have things in the window. So when it was Halloween, we had the Nightmare Before Christmas plush in the window. Then at Christmas, it was Mickey and Minnie with like a little tree and stuff. And then it was like, I'm going to put the Beauty and the Beast things there. I think at one point we had some Little Mermaid stuff in there. So yeah, I had to retrospectively collect Beauty and the Beast bits.
Because you were a boy and you know that was a girls' film and you weren't allowed.
To be honest, I wouldn't have gone out of my way to grab it. I love like the Mrs. Potts Lumiere and all those bits. I love that I've got them and stuff. but I probably wouldn't have gone for any kind of dress up, or I wouldn't have had action figures. I wouldn't have cared for any of those. I did have the odd McDonald's toy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I performed as Belle once, right? So, in 92. So it had come out.
Yes.
When I was a kid, well, way before that actually, before I was even born, my mum's family did a family party on New Year's Day. And it was an annual event because us Scots, we celebrate the New Year.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
I won't worry.
Did that sound anything like her name?
No.
No, but yet she responded. Oh well. Yeah, and so... Moving on. As it, it kept going.
Keeping
so
that in, by the way.
The kids were included, and this year, because of the hit, and and because of how much my grandma loved the film, it was right. Jamie, you're Belle, and Richard, who's my cousin, you're the Beast, and my mum made the cloak and made Richard's outfit. They got a face mask. I don't know where. I think it might have been from America for him to be the Beast. And the dress I wore, albeit it wasn't gold, but it was my Flower Girls dress from my auntie's wedding. And my mum's cousin had us record the song in his garage, and that's what he played. Well, I know, I was only 6. I know. So, yeah, that was my last little, memory.
I mean, for me, and I'll go through the actual VHS and stuff release as well, because I think they kind of link up a little bit.
Okay.
And just wanted to say how, as I was going through the years.
Oh, yeah.
So, it first came out on VHS in America in 1992, but we got it in September 1993. I remember the day this came out, so I'd have been 3 years old.
God.
Yes, and the reason why I remember it is because in those days,
yes,
it was VHS, and you open the case and it had cellophane around the actual tape.
Yes.
I was 3 years old, and I put it straight into the cassette player.
Oh no!
Which buggered up the cassette player, and my uncle came back, and he would have been about 15, 16, and he had to dismantle the video player to get this out. And I remember getting it out, and I remember just taking the cellophane off, a lot of shouting happening around, and then me just putting the video back in because, well, thanks for getting it out, I'm going to watch it now kind of thing. That video was ruined at the end when we're getting it out. So when the Beast is transforming, even watching it today, when that Beast transforms, the video would do the thing, and by the end of it, he's transformed. Okay. So it's magic. And then obviously growing up and things, it'd be my great-grandma's, she used to babysit, so we used to watch that on video quite a lot. Getting older, the DVD first came out in the UK in 2002. Yeah. So would have been roughly the age when my sister was born. She'd have been about a year and a bit by then, so we had the DVD. We used to watch Disney films all the time when my grandma used to come over, great-grandma used to come over to have Sunday dinner with us the odd time. It was always Beauty and the Beast we watched. Mentioned about college and things like that, which would have been the mid-2000s. Then in 2010 is when the Blu-ray came out, which is the Blu-ray I bought. It's over yonder. Okay. Where we was at the Disney store. Yeah. And as was mentioned, we celebrated the 20th anniversary around that time, and I remember more the Christmas being on. But I do remember the Belle song at the beginning coming on as I was leaving, because I left just after Belle month. I left during Tiana, but it was Belle month. Right, it was like 1 or 2 before, so I remember that being on and everywhere. Then in 2017, when we first went to Florida, we went to go see the live show in Florida, which was amazing, but we had a hurricane and they showed 5 films on repeat in our room, and it was the second Tron, It was, I believe, Brave, and there was 2 other films I can't remember. One I think was like Princess Diaries, and it was Beauty and the Beast. So I watched this quite a few times while there was a hurricane outside. Brings us on to Disney Plus, first released on first day.
Yeah.
And then 4K was in 2021.
Okay.
Which, as I say, Beauty and the Beast has kind of just been there.
Yeah.
All throughout.
Mm-hmm.
When we started doing this podcast, it was very much like Beauty and the Beast is one we're looking forward to doing, because it's our favourite. We knew it was going to be big. Didn't think it would be a month big.
No.
But it's always just been this extra. It's always been part.
Yeah.
Of my life somewhere along the line.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my boys don't put it on, but they know that it is, you know, that's Mummy's favourite. And like Finlay has said, oh, Mummy, you're Belle and Daddy's Beast, you know, which is cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that past.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And because, as I say, if we do have a little girl, it's also going to be the future as well, because we do have, say, the dolls, and I've got a few of the little toys and stuff. So I'm hoping it's going to be a big part of their future, and they are dressing up as Belle or Beast.
Well, I did.
Regardless of gender.
And do you know what? I'll post it actually when the week that this podcast is released. I did get a baby Beast outfit, and I photographed Finlay in it. So yeah, on his wedding day, or when he turns 16, I haven't yet decided, or his punishment.
That is 21st birthday cake.
Yeah, it will be, hello, darling, look how cute you are. But yeah, and the rose that I had from the Disney on Ice programme, I laid next to him. I know. And do you know what? He is a beast. So...
Fairly, it was preempted.
It was preempted. Hope you're enjoying this, our podcast. If you're not already, please follow, subscribe. Let us know why Beauty and the Beast means so much to you as well. Any memories you want to share, we'd love to know. Or if this isn't your favourite, we want to know why.
I don't know if I want that kind of person in my life.
So, yeah. Thank you for listening to the Jamie and Stephen Show.
Let's talk movies,
music and magic. Au revoir.